Let's get into our news of the week, which is brought to you by Eagle Mortgage. That's a company run by Holly Schneiderwind, and Eagle Mortgage does a fantastic job of helping you with an FHA, VA, or of course a conventional mortgage. They sometimes do some specialty mortgages as well. But, at Eagle, they know that buying a house for most people is the biggest purchase they ever make. And they know that you only, if you're like most people, buy a handful of houses in your entire life. And so they want to do everything they can to help you through the process and make it good for you. They're not a bank. They can shop a variety of banks on your behalf, in your favor, so that you get the best mortgage solution possible. You can find them in person at 114th and Davenport or online at eaglemortgagecompany.com. So, Trenton, a lot of news items today to get us started. First of all, yesterday was the first day of business for the ice skating rink at the University of Nebraska Medical Center, which is news in and of itself. But the main news here is that it has a new canopy over it. I went and saw it the other day. I didn't ice skate, but I went and saw it, and it looks really cool. It was a gift made possible by the generosity of UNMC supporters Ruth Scott and her late husband Bill, and a nice addition to that area. And of course, the Med Center just keeps going and going.
Well, it's
like
amazing.
crazy.
You've got at least three options that I know about. You've got the skate ribbon downtown.
Yep.
You got UNMC.
Mm-hmm.
And then you have Hartward Preserve. I think all three are probably open.
I believe so. And I know downtown is open. I know UNMC is open, and I'm 99% certain Hartwood Preserve is open for ice skating as well. Site Selection Magazine, which is a national trade publication covering the economic development industry, the economic development profession, published an article about Nebraska's Imagine Nebraska tax incentive program in the most recent edition. Real cool article, some great photographs, really kind of showing some of the economic development, corporate recruitment, corporate expansion successes we've had. But this Imagine Nebraska tax incentive program was passed in 2020. It has now helped 50 companies invest a total of $1.55 billion.
Holy moly.
And those projects are not only in Omaha, but spread out all around the state. Well, workers have started pouring footings for the University of Nebraska Medical Center's first ever student residence hall. This is near 39th and Dewey Avenue. It's a $66 million project. The building will be 200,000 square feet, 6 stories, and will accommodate about 300 students. Occupancy is scheduled for August 2026. That project is coming along quickly.
Probably have a lot of study rooms, collaborative study.
And maybe some study hours, maybe quiet hours for study. I'm kind of thinking these medical students take their studying seriously. Construction has gone vertical on the Nook Apartments. These, Trenton, are the apartments that are on the old Grace University campus,
Okay.
8th and Pine. And Bluestone Development, basically took over all this land. There was a shocking amount of empty land on that campus. Little places where houses had been removed, and probably for some sort of campus expansion that sadly wasn't to happen. And then there were some parking lots, and so all of these are being filled with these apartments, some townhomes, but mostly apartments. But this will be 250 units in 10 total buildings. You're basically going to take an area that's kind of half full and make it pretty dense.
We're getting great density. The master plan and the city has really done a great job focusing on from Midtown East mainly, but repurposing. Taking out a couple houses that are old, that aren't really worth saving, and building big apartment complexes. And the more density, the more population we get downtown, the more vibrant downtown is.
Well, it has been proven that when you look at what kinds of development create the most value, and the value being property values and kicking off tax revenue for cities and states, it is by far dense downtown development. Second to that is dense near downtown development. All of that produces a lot more value, both in terms of tax revenue and property value increases, than even your nicest suburban development. Now, we have
Especially
nothing.
when you go more vertical.
Yeah, we have nothing against suburban development. Trenton and I, both of our houses are in a suburban area. Love the suburban area. But for those of you that are wondering, why do we talk so much about this urban stuff and about downtown and about streetcars and density and all that? Because it'll make the city richer and make the people who live in the city a lot richer. Best way to grow tax base in a city is by having dense development. And that Nook project's a nice example, close to, but actually outside of downtown.
I wonder if they're going to make the cranny next door, the cranny apartments.
Trenton, you should get a marketing job and or either that be a marketing consultant to multifamily developers.
I mean, I know why they started with the Nook first. I mean, you just can't have a cranny.
After buying the Lucky Strike brand last year, Bolero, the chain of bowling stores, has decided to rebrand its entire company as Lucky Strike Entertainment. This according to the Wall Street Journal. Bolero is based in Richmond, Virginia, and has 75 locations. Why do we mention this? Well, they have a couple locations here. In Omaha, they have one at 20902 Cumberland Drive. So this is in Elkhorn area west of 204th. Used to be called the Mark.
Yep.
And then in Council Bluffs, they have one at 1900 Madison Avenue. So all of these Bolero centers across the country, including the two locally, will be renamed Lucky Strike sometime between now and 2 years from
That's
now.
a name that's been around for a while. They must have acquired that, or they already had those alleys. But
That is correct. They did acquire those not terribly long ago. And so they just I think they figured the reasoning behind it is Lucky Strike, has a bowling theme to it, but they want to get more into like indoor amusement parks, outdoor theme parks.
Right.
And Lucky Strike was still honored their bowling heritage, I guess, but wasn't quite so bowling centric as the name Bolero.
plus, they got to compete with pickleball. They don't want to lose the bowlers to the pickleball players.
You know, I think pickleball would be a pretty tough competitor from what I understand.
They should use bowling balls to play pickleball.
So, Trenton, which airline dominates the passenger market in Omaha or has the greatest market share of all the airlines? What do you think? It's a stump the Trenton.
I'm going to say Southwest, but it could be American or United.
Or it could be Delta, or it could be Alaska, or it could be Allegiant. You kind of hedged your bets there a little bit. You got to guess one. So your Southwest is your guess,
Okay.
right?
Yeah.
Okay, you're correct. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Yeah, Southwest has 37% of the market share out of Epley Airfield.
Give me another one.
We'll work on one.
Okay.
But here's the deal. Southwest wrapping up their in-flight cabin service earlier than they used to. They used to wrap it up at 10,000 feet. Now you're going to have to take that last swig of your soda, or I sometimes get the Bloody Mary mix without any alcohol
I
in
do
it
that all the
myself.
time, Mr. and Mrs. T.
I love the way that stuff tastes. And I don't get the alcohol in it because I get plenty of other alcohol. But at any rate, now they're going to do that at 18,000 square feet.
What?
Or not square feet, feet. No squares. Feet.
That's crap.
It is. It's supposedly for safety and all that sort of thing. But I don't know. I don't know whether that works out or not. So the state expressway system, this is, okay. You know what the state expressway system is? Have you heard of it?
Yeah.
Okay, I'll help you out. The state expressway system was passed by an act of the Nebraska legislature back in 1988, and the purpose behind it was to connect every city in Nebraska that had at least 15,000 people to an interstate, either I-80 or maybe I-29 in Iowa. And it was supposed to be done in 15 years. Now, how many years ago was 1988 approximately? It was a lot. Like, what, about
34?
30,
36?
Yeah, getting up there, maybe getting a little close to 40 years. Guess what? Still not done, that 15-year project.
So if you're not by Interstate 80, it's not like you have to be near the interstate. Is it like 4 lanes to that?
Yeah, 4-lane connector.
Okay.
And so like connecting places like Columbus and Norfolk and Scotts Bluff and all these types of towns. And then, like for instance, part of it was creating a 4-lane divided highway from Omaha all the way to Norfolk, which is still not 100% done. So 1988 was when this thing kicked off. Was supposed to be done in 15 years. And recently, the state Nebraska Department of Transportation bumped it out to the mid-2030s. And then just this week, in testimony before, I don't know if they were, I think maybe before a legislative committee, although I'm not sure about that because the legislature's not in session. At
Hurry
any
up,
rate,
we're losing the audience.
2042.
What?
2042. 2042. We're going to be old in 2042, but the expressway system still might not be done. We need to hustle up and get this stuff going a little bit.
If you like this video, be sure to hit those like and subscribe buttons. And remember, Grow Omaha is not just media. This is a mission. We are trying to build up Omaha and make it an even better place. We can only do that with your help. Share this video with your friends, neighbors, and family.